love that video, and I thought it was so appropriate for today, because it's the seeds we're planting doesn't necessarily you're going to see the tree tomorrow, but it is so fully present in the ground, and it's being nurtured by the ground all the time. And I love those last words where it's whatever grows will grow, whatever works will work, whatever dies will die, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, whatever soars will soar. I'm planting seeds and nothing more. So you're planting your intentions and letting them go. And then, but the real gold, it says in this song, is joy when life starts to flow. And when it does, you just smile, because now you know that the real gold is when life starts to flow. And when it does, the true meaning of life is revealed. It is to plant seeds under whose shade you do not expect to sit. You're in the moment without the end destination in mind. You're in there knowing that it's already done, and you already have the joy of it all. So that's one of the reasons I love that song. Plus, I just like Daniel Nahman too. So to live in the moment means, how many times have we heard this since the last decade or so? It means to be consciously aware of every moment of what you are doing, so to speak. That you know that what is in front of you is so much more important than thinking of the past or thinking of the future at all. When you're thinking of the past, you're usually in fear. Actually, you're in angst. Fear, and then in future, you're anxious all about what's happening. How many times have we gone on vacation or done something wonderful, and in that moment with new scenery and new ideas and new places, you open your eyes for the first time and you're aware of something new that you've never seen before, and so you're in that moment. But then all of a sudden that moment kind of passes, or you're thinking, will that moment ever come again? I want this moment to last forever, so you're already worried that the moment's going to pass and you don't even enjoy the moment that you're in. Or you're thinking about the work or the paper or the something at home that's happening. Thinking about the politics. You're thinking about everything in your life that is not at peace in your heart. So your job is not to make the world make it peaceful. The world doesn't make it peaceful for you. You make it a peace in your heart, and that peace in your heart is what makes the world peaceful. It all comes from you. So when you're in that moment, it is really a paradox so many times, because what you want to do is be in the moment, and the paradox is if your intention is to be in the moment and you're expecting that outcome of peace, then you're already in the future. So it's one of those push me, pull me things, right? So being in the moment is totally immersed. And while they're here, I have talked so much. Everybody wants to now visit the Parrot Sanctuary. I went to the Parrot Sanctuary with the stain bees, and I was so fully immersed with the birds, and in that moment, it was one of those magical moments for me. And I wasn't thinking, when are we going to leave? How long is it going to get there? When am I going to eat? What am I going to have the same great cup of coffee I had this morning when I get home? None of those things. I was fully immersed, being with these brilliant people and birds, and it was so fun, and it was so interesting. I don't know if you noticed this at all, but as we went to leave, we all just knew it was time to leave. It wasn't like, are you ready to go or anything? We just kind of all migrated toward the front. Did you even notice that? I did. Oh, well, I did. So, because I was in the moment. I was in the flow. You were probably thinking, I got to get out of here. So the Dalai Lama says, there are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. As today is the right way to love, live, believe, and to live. Today is the right day to love, live, believe, and have a great day. So when you're in that moment, when you're in this moment, and this is happening more and more naturally for me, because I want to say for lots of reasons, but some of it is probably my granddaughter too. I am so in the moment with her, because you never know what she's going to do or what she's going to say or anything else. And everything she does and says is such a joy that it's fabulous. And it's in the moment that I met Mary at the dog park That was one of those magical moments. And we even said to one another, this is like in our own words, this is a magical moment. And our dogs are totally different. She has many little dogs. I have one huge dog, but they got along. They all got along too. So I had an example of being in the moment. I went away last weekend, to Mammoth with a friend. And on the way up, and I don't know what it was in me, I just rebelled, is this, she said to me, she said, okay, so we're gonna set our intentions this vacation, and we're going to not talk about the past. And she says, I think that's what we need to do. And I said, I just want to be. I just want to be so fully present in the beauty, the nature, the everything that is all around me. And what was really funny is after we were there for a couple of days or a day or so, they had this recliner, and I was sitting back in the recliner. And I've talked about this before. Has anybody ever done Bible dipping? Or what they, Running with Scissors. I forget the guy that wrote it, but it's something August. Anyway, and Running with Scissors, which is it's a true story, and it's one of the funniest screwed up lives you ever want to read. And in it, he was living with a psychologist that would open the Bible, the psychologist who was absolutely bat crazy. And he would open up the Bible every morning, and you had to pick a verse. You go and you pick the verse and he would make that verse happen no matter what, or they would make it connect in their minds. So I'm sitting in this chair, and there's a dictionary there, and I open the dictionary. I said, okay, I'm going to do dictionary, instead of Bible dipping, dictionary dipping. And I said, what do I need to know in my mind? What do I need to know? And I go down, and it says recliner. And I thought, I don't get this. I don't understand it. And I said, and what do I need to know? I need to know I'm in the recliner, and I need to be fully present in it. And I just started laughing, and then I told the person I was with. And it did work out really, really well. But I do know that forever is composed of nows, every moment, moment by moment by moment. And so when we are in the now, and we know that that seed is planted, and it even is being nurtured by something greater, and that we may never sit under that tree, but what we sit under or what comes to us may even be greater than we ever imagined. I do know that my life has turned out, I didn't really have any plans. That's a problem right there. I've always been kind of in the flow, but my life has turned out so much richer than I ever imagined. And I've done a lot of different things, and I won't go into them, but it's turned out so much richer by just knowing that the next spot has taken me to the next spot and the next spot. And one of the hardest things for me and many is to get out of our routine. It's really difficult to get out of your routine, but how many of us have totally just been driving, and all of a sudden you were on autopilot. You don't even know how you got to your destination, but you got there. That's happened to me, where all of a sudden I look around and I think, oh my God, how did I drive this? But there's something in the subconscious that makes you know how you're going. But what did I miss? What did I miss? Where was I when I was driving? And I certainly wasn't in the now. And so one of the things you can do is when your thoughts take you away, when it's important that you're present, because in the present, they now know that when you're living in the moment, people are less anxious, people have better health, people have better experiences, people are more joyous, happy, better relationships, because you're fully present and you're listening to the other person. I had a moment last night. We celebrated Katie's birthday, all of us. It was wonderful. And I'm just going to be honest. And I thought, oh my God, this is ego. I didn't even know this. And I was so happy. My family was there. It was wonderful. All the Olsons were there. Winnie, my niece, was there, and Adam, her husband. And Allison comes in Katie's arms, and I'm standing with Karen, the other grandma, and Allison got so excited. She didn't know who to hug first, but she hugged us both, which was so precious. But then after that, she didn't want any part of me. And I went, oh my God, I've lost my baby. I've lost my baby. I hadn't lost her at all. She was just being Allison, saying hi to everybody. And her favorite thing was Winnie was taking her around the restaurant to see the people. She kept saying, Winnie, come on, we got to go see the people. We got to go see the people. So we met a whole lot of people. She met a whole lot of people. So it was interesting. So there's a story about Burning Man, and some of us know about Burning Man. Who knows? Does everybody know about Burning Man now? Yeah, and some of our children have gone, or children that we know have gone, and it's basically like a new age, like not a new age, it's like electronics, and it's going back to nature. It's everything in, I think it's Black Rock, Nevada. And you go there, and you're just so submerged in the moment. And one of the things they have there is a telephone booth, and it said, come in and call God. And this place had a lineup, by the way. And whoever, so there's a guy, and he goes, this is a story about the guy who goes in the booth, and a man's voice says, hello, this is God. Who knows, you know, we're all God. God is us. Anyway, so the guy, he says, how can I help you, my son? And the boy says, I am so anxious, and I just can't seem to relax in. What can I do to relax in? And the boy says, just take a moment and breathe. And just feel the breath. Let's do that together. Just one huge breath together. And breathe out. And one more, just aware of the breath. And it does. It puts you in the present and in the moment. And when he left that phone booth, he was much more calm, much more peaceful, and enjoyed the rest of his time. But it really was an interesting experiment of being in the now. So we are always reaching for that wonderful happiness. But we don't have to reach. It's right here, right now, in this room. We have been brought together to share a consciousness that supports that we are not only whole, perfect, and complete, as we say, and I go, it shows what you know. But no, we are whole, perfect, and complete, no matter what. I love Reverend Betty Ann. We are whole, perfect, and complete, no matter what. What is it? We are experiencing unfolding perfectly, no matter what. You would think I'd remember this. My life is unfolding perfectly, no matter what. And so when we reach those rough patches, we come back to the present. I'm feeling the sensation of whatever I'm doing whatever I need to do, and it's all working out toward the highest and best for all. So everyone agrees in the moment, it is the moment by moment that is the problem, because it involves, again, that profound challenge. It takes a moment to go back. So sometimes I'll think, oh, I'm driving now and I'll see something new. I have certain paths I take all the time, certain driving roads, and I look now and I say, oh my gosh, like I drive to the pool and I see new houses now. I look up at the sky and I see a different sky every single time. I go to the dog park, I meet new people. There was one boy there, by the way, I don't know if I told you this. I met a boy there one time with his dog, and he was traveling around. Some go to the national parks. He was traveling around to all the dog parks in the United States with his dog, because he said the most genuine, authentic, and caring people are the people I meet at dog parks. And so that was his intention. And he had, I think California was one of his last stops, and he came to the one that we were at, Camarillo Springs. So isn't that interesting? So there are things that we can do to come back to the moment. I always use meditation as an example for me. For years, meditation was a chore. And then I finally got that it is my time to be with the divine. And I now look forward to it. It is not a chore, and I get lost in it many times too, just being in that nothingness. And if you don't have, I always say Lisa Coffey gave me my secret word to God, my password to God, which you're not supposed to share, but she did tell me, if you don't have a secret password, just go Om Sham, Om Shah, Om Sham, just Om Shah, Om Sham, Om Sham, to take you back in and then meditate. And I meditate 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. Sometimes night gets a little short. There, my mouth is like, oh. So I want to give you some spiritual tools to help you be in this moment. And Buzz has slides. So the first one is to improve your performance. Stop thinking about your performance. And there we are, we're in joy. And there's a wonderful Seinfeld. Did anybody see the Seinfeld where Ellen, is it Ellen or who's the girl? Elaine and Julia Dreyfus, and she's dancing, and she goes to this party, and everybody loves Elaine, and she goes to dance, and she's like, and all her friends back away from her. They're so embarrassed to be with her. And she goes and she says to Jerry on the way home, she says, you know, I think when I go back to work or when I see my friends, they're going to be so excited to see me because I am such a great dancer. Well, no one would talk to her at all. No one would talk to her. And she says, I don't understand it. I was the best dancer there. And if you could have seen this, I could not even duplicate what she was doing. And it was really outrageous. But the show ends with her accepting that she's still the best dancer and she's not going to change a bit because she's in the flow and she's happy. And if her people want to be her friends, well, they can just be in the flow with her. And I thought that was great. So be in that moment. Be in that knowing that you don't have to be perfect at all things. Just be in the joy. And if the joy means taking a slight turn tab, opening your eyes to something new, changing something, then open your eyes. The next step is to avoid worrying about the future, savor the present moment, and live in the moment. And I'll never forget, I was in Maui for the first time when my babies were little. I remember that trip so specifically because Spencer forgot his shoes, and he was under 2, and we could not find shoes, and so he was barefoot the whole time we were there. So, and we still, I don't know if you even remember that trip at all. You do remember that trip? Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But it was so beautiful, and I looked up and I said, I will always cherish this moment. Not try and make it better or worse, but I will cherish this moment forever. So when you're in that moment, you try to look at this, we're in the moment. We can dance now. We have the dance music. So anyway, I think it's Elizabeth Gilbert that wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and she was with someone who also, when traveling, would say, I don't ever want to leave here. I just love this so much. I'm going to be miserable when I get home. And she said, how can you say that? Enjoy this. Take this message with you when you go home. And it's like, why live in the past? There are so many more exciting things to happen. You know, I was embarrassed about this at the time. I'm not anymore. I'm going to use Gina as an example again. Poor Gina. Gina Stangby. Katie, she is so close to her daughter. She's so close to her son and daughter, and I relate to that. Whether my son and daughter feel that or not, I feel so blessed. I have amazing children. They have turned out amazingly kind, compassionate, functioning, and all of those things, and I've always related to that. So Katie, when she was pregnant and she moved around the corner from me, I called Gina crying. Maddie wasn't even out of high school. And I said, Gina, I want this for you. I want this. And she went, okay. I was already projecting the future because I know your closeness. And no matter where your kids are, they're fine. They're in your heart. They're with you in that moment. Every time you think of them, every time you think of anybody that's on the other side, on the other planet, you know, in the heaven world or in your life, they're there for you. So just live in the moment. Savor the moment. Savor it like you would in the morning, like if you're having coffee that you love. Savor that taste in that moment. And know that today when you wake up is going to be that divine day and that everything's working out perfectly. Okay, number 3. If you want a future with your cherished partners and friends, be in the now. And in the now, what do we know? We know that whatever we're doing in this moment is coming from kindness, coming from love, coming from a greater being other than other than our ego or anything else. So if something is not working for someone, just take a step back. Look at it. It's not about you. Life is not about you. As much as I want it to be about me, it's not about me. Like Allison at the restaurant, that was not about me. It was about Allison having fun with people she gets to run around. She loves Annie. She loves Annie. Annie dances with her. So it's like, and she came in and she said, "Hi Annie, hi Annie, hi Annie." When she walked in, I was like dog meat when she came in today. Then she loves Uncle Spencer too. So anyway, so know that in that moment, don't take things personally. This is the 4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. Know that you are still in that relationship and beyond all circumstances, and it's working out for the highest and best for all of you. Number 4, to make the most of time, lose track of it. Be in the flow. And that's what happened when we went to the bird sanctuary. And it happens to me many times where I'm just so besotted in the moment with what's happening to me, or a film or something. I just don't even know. It's like I go out of my body and it's like something greater is happening to me. Instead of trying to stop the flow and saying, oh, I gotta look at my watch, I gotta be here, I gotta do that. Just to be in that flow. This is one of the teachings that the Taoist, the Buddhist, the Christians, all of the, whatever religion you name, it talks about be in this moment, be in the flow, and allow that flow to flow through you perfectly. All you can do is to set the stage for creating optimal conditions, and then you have to let it go. It's like planting that seed, knowing the tree's going to be there, and maybe you won't be there to see it bloom or to grow, but you already know you've done what you've done, and that's all that you could do. And that's what Chopra says when we leave this planet. He says, know that the person that you've lost has done all that they've done all that they can do, and that is enough. They came, their job is done, and that is enough. So sometimes it's helpful to set a track of what you're doing. You can keep track of what you're doing, but don't be so restricted that you have to do it a certain way. Writers, you get advice from writers. You do a book this way. You sit down from 9 to 5 or blah, blah, blah. You do your work this way, that way. If that doesn't work for you, why would you keep battling it? Do what your heart tells. Follow that heart song and do what that heart song tells you what to do and how to do it and when to do it. Okay, number 5, if something is bothering you, move toward it rather than away from it. This was one of the lessons I learned, and I was lucky in my 20s. And this is when I understood and accepted my own darkness. I was consumed by my own light. And what's so interesting is one of my famous Rumi, I love Rumi, the darkness is where in the heart, the break in the heart is where the light can shine the brightest, because that's the opening for the light to shine. And when we accept, it's the shadow self, and the shadow self chases and chases and chases us, and we run faster and faster and faster until we can turn around and embrace, open up, and realize what is chasing us, what is making us anxious, what has caused us to be in fear or pain or anything else. When you can turn around and embrace it, then you can let it go. You cannot let go of anything you cannot embrace and look at straight in the face, and then let it face or consciousness, and then let it go. It will chase you and chase you and chase you. So accept it, be in just look at it and say, this is it. I'm not saying you don't have to be sad when you lose somebody or anything else. You have to recognize that it's part of the process to be in pain. That your pain, you embrace it and you know it, and it's part of the process. Anything you're going through that is fearful, it is part of the process to say, okay, I'm embracing this, I see it, I get it, and I'm going to be in the moment and show up the best I know how. And there are people in this congregation that do that every single day. So acceptance of the present moment has nothing to do with resignation. Acceptance doesn't tell you what to do. It happens naturally once you embrace it. So number 5, know that you don't know. I love Pooh. He always was saying, think, 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 think. And know that you don't know everything and that you are open and receptive to learning and seeing new things. By acquiring the habit of seeing new things, it brings a whole new rich world. My children, I think, were fairly well cloistered growing up in a small town, Camarillo, compared to other towns. And when they went to different countries, Katie, Chile, and Spencer, we visited Katie, and then Spencer, this isn't a different country, but he went to Puerto Rico and learned a whole lot there, and it was just such a marvelous, rich experience. You come back with the richness of how life is when those things happen. So now the next one is, don't just do something, sit there. Go back to breathing again. One of my favorite cartoons was from New Yorker, and I think it sums up. 2 monks are sitting on the side, meditating. The younger one is like done and looking at the teacher and looking at him and looking at him and looking at him. Teacher opens his eyes and looks over and says, "Nothing happens next. This is it." This is it. This is the moment. So become awakened in any moment you can by just being fully present when you're with people. Look at them. Be with them. One of the hardest things for me is all of a sudden I think, oh, I should be seeing this person or that person or that person, and the person I'm with doesn't get my full attention. And last week I said to someone, I said, you know what, can I have your card? I'm not fully present right now. I need to go say hello to somebody, and I'll call you later. And it works. It really does, so that I knew that I couldn't let go of someone that had just shown up, but I was able to make acknowledge them, that they are there and that you're fully present for them. And so it works the same. When someone acknowledges me, I feel great. So, as the song Planting Seeds says, the real gold is joy when life starts to flow, and when it does, you just smile, because now you know whatever grows will grow, whatever works will work, whatever dies will die, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, whatever soars will soar. I'm planting seeds, nothing more. And that is the true meaning of life, is to plant seeds under trees whose shade you do not expect to sit under. And so it is. I love each and every one of you. God is the power. Namaste.